Okay, welcome everybody. We're ready to begin our ceremony. It's my privilege to introduce Dr. Nicole Elsie Quest, the chair of the IDP, to give some remarks.
Good afternoon. It is my honor to welcome you to the commencement ceremony for the 9th cohort of the Master of Social Science program at the University of California, Los Angeles. My name is Nicole Elsie Quest. I'm a professor of education in the School of Education and Information Studies. I'm also the proud chair of the Social Science Interdepartmental Program, which is the institutional home for MaSS at UCLA. We are joined by our academic director, Dr. Matthew McCoy, our assistant director, Ms. Maricela Diaz-Vasquez, and our director of digital projects, Mr. Paul Connor, way back there, making sure the live stream happens. Alongside our outstanding faculty and teaching assistants, these are the talented, hardworking, and generous people who make MaSS a vibrant and dynamic program. Class of 2026, you look beautiful in your fabulous medieval costumes. We are so proud of you. Families and friends of our graduates, on behalf of the MaSS program, I extend a warm, sincere welcome to each of you. We know that many of you have traveled a long way to be here today, and we are thrilled that you're here with us. We are grateful to be able to celebrate your graduates, and we appreciate the time that we have had with them over these past 9 months. It is truly the best part of working in a university is working with students. As is true for all campuses in the University of California system, UCLA is a land-grant institution. That means that our campus was built upon land provided by the state, land that was historically the homeland of indigenous peoples. We acknowledge our presence on the traditional, ancestral, unceded territory of the Gabrielino Tongva peoples, Tovangar. We pay our respects to the Honuk Vitam, ancestors, Ahi Hirom, elders, and Iuhinkim, relatives, past, present, and emerging. This land acknowledgement is an important reminder of several things, one of which is that our scholarly community resides on land to which most of us have no rightful claim or entitlement. It is an incredible privilege to be a part of this community, to live, learn, and work on this land. For that reason, we have a profound responsibility to make the most of it, to live, learn, and work well, to use our knowledge to make the world a freer and more just place. Today is the Academy's best day, hands down. It is a day devoted to celebrating the pursuit of knowledge. And the pursuit of knowledge is fundamental to the human experience. Indeed, it drives every aspect of our development. Our brains are programmed to discover and learn, to identify patterns in the environment, and to adapt our thinking and behavior to this new way of understanding. We don't need to be taught or trained to pursue knowledge. We are born curious. Even in infancy, our least sophisticated developmental stage, we are actively, insatiably engaged in this endeavor. Developmental psychologists like myself have spent thousands of hours in laboratories learning that babies will turn their heads to orient to voices speaking in an unfamiliar language. They will focus their eyesight and attention on novel images, and they will look longer at events that they understand to be impossible. We know they do these things to construct their knowledge of the world, to make sense of reality. In the words of the eminent developmental psychologist Jean Piaget, babies are little scientists. And in fact, they're doing these things long before they're speaking their first word, before they can take their first step. This hardwired preference for new experience and novelty, truly the predisposition to be curious and inquisitive, it's essential to every aspect of human development, whether it be language learning, identity formation, taking those first steps, every aspect. In short, humans are built for pursuing knowledge. It is as natural and instinctual as breathing. And yet, the pursuit of knowledge is not value neutral. It's political. Historians, anthropologists, and other social scientists have discovered that the politicization of learning is not a new phenomenon. To read and talk about books, to explore and experiment with new ways of thinking, to obtain specialized training and receive instruction from qualified experts, to earn a formal credential that grants us privileges and access not only to decision makers, but to decision making itself. To question what those in positions of authority tell us is true, and to demand evidence or collect it ourselves. To create new knowledge and be respected as credible. Knowing is empowering. Indeed, those actions are so empowering that they are regulated, curtailed, sanctioned, and made inaccessible to the people who stand to benefit from them the most. Social scientists have documented carefully the impacts of actions like burning books or banning books that make us uncomfortable, suppressing free and open dialogue about ideas that are disruptive, raising the cost of schooling while lowering student loan caps, and prohibiting classroom access to students on the basis of their race, religion, nationality, disability, and gender. These are political acts that make the world less free and less just. Graduates, over the past 9 months in your development as social scientists, you have become more critical thinkers and more sophisticated problem solvers. You have become more effective communicators, more careful readers, more precise analysts, more collaborative partners, more thoughtful citizens. You have become more powerful. It brings me immense joy, pride, and hope, knowing that as each of you walks across this stage in just a few minutes to receive your Master of Social Science degree, you gain power that cannot be revoked or invalidated because you've earned it. Now, it is your responsibility to do something with it, to use your knowledge to make the world a freer and more just place, to empower others. But first, we celebrate your hard work. Congratulations to the MaSS class of 2026. Please join me in welcoming Dr. McCoy back to the stage.
Thank you, Dr. LZ Quest, and good afternoon to our graduates and their families and friends. In my first year as academic director, it has been my joy to teach this MaSS cohort the fundamentals of qualitative research methods and to serve as their advisor. In both roles, I've watched them mature into thoughtful and provocative social science researchers. The anthropologist Margaret Mead once said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." That is a fitting quote for today, because this graduating class has spent the past year learning how to think carefully, how to use the tools of social science to make social change in a world where it often seems like so many voices are being left unheard. And we know that social change begins by questioning the things around us that we too often take for granted. As we teach our students, a good research question begins in the ordinary. It can begin with a post on a social media feed. It can begin with a surprising conversation with an international student or a first-generation medical student. It can begin through an artistic practice like dressing in an elaborate cosplay for an anime convention. It can begin when we see our fellow human beings suffering on the street. And it can also begin when we encounter people whose political beliefs are very different from our own. In this way, social scientists often begin with the feeling that something about everyday life deserves closer attention. This year, our students gave their attention to a kaleidoscopic range of topics. They studied how digital platforms impact mental health and identity formation. They studied how the arrangement of green space and soundscapes affect the ability of students to study. They researched the pop music listening preferences of the LGBTQ community and the tipping habits of Americans at restaurants. They studied how people make meaning in institutions that often overlook them. One of the things I admire most about this cohort is they did not treat research as something distant, but as vital for solving social problems that mattered to them personally. They brought themselves into the work through reflecting on their backgrounds, including their languages and communities, their doubts and anxieties, and their political commitments. This year, many of them collaborated with community partners from across Los Angeles County. They were placed in teams and tasked with developing a research agenda with their nonprofit organizations. One team studied the effects of gentrification on minority-owned small business owners. Another team evaluated a program to assist homeless persons with their legal challenges. Another team studied how to increase minority representation in Hollywood. And another team worked with parents of school children in underserved communities on a program to close the education gap. In each case, their research was not simply about extracting data from these communities. Our students learned how to listen, and through listening, translated their research into detailed reports and presentations. They mobilized their interviews, focus groups, observational field notes, surveys, dataset analyses, and literature reviews into meaningful recommendations to improve these nonprofits' programs and interventions serving the Los Angeles community. To our MaSS graduates, you have done much more than finish a degree. You have practiced a way of thinking that will stay with you, whether you go into academia or business, or whether you work for nonprofits or healthcare organizations, or fields you may not be able to yet to name. Wherever you go, the research skills you cultivated here will continue to make a difference. I conducted my own research in Belfast, Northern Ireland. I researched the impacts of a sectarian conflict known as the Troubles, a 30-year period that tore apart communities, through bitter national and political divisions. It was a time when people stopped listening to one another. They stopped seeing one another as people and saw one another only as enemies. It took decades and countless difficult conversations for neighbors to begin listening to one another again. These conversations were started by small groups of thoughtful, committed citizens from across the national and political divides, and in each difficult conversation, in each act of attention, of listening to one another, was born a seed of hope for the coming to recognize the shared humanity of the other. I'll close today with a selection from Seamus Heaney, a poet from Northern Ireland, who evokes the power of such hope. He wrote, "History says, don't hope on this side of the grave, but then, once in a lifetime, the longed for tidal wave of justice can rise up, and hope and history rhyme." Congratulations to the MaSS class of 2026. And it is my distinct honor to introduce our student speakers for today. First up, we have Janica White.
When you think of research, do you tend to think of the results or the process more? I used to believe that the only thing that matters were the findings at the end of a report. But through this program, I have learned that the process is as equally, if not more, important. We have been very fortunate that our professors allowed us to pursue almost any topic we desired and cultivated an environment where it felt like our opinions and beliefs mattered. Not what is most desirable to the majority, but what you care about. And for most people, this was truly a once-in-a-lifetime chance to discover what you care most about and what you want to share with the world. But this can only happen if you have the desire to want to make a change in the world. Meaningful change can only happen through an individual's willpower to take that initiative. Change cannot be accomplished by blindly listening to someone or something. My hope is that we leave here with the confidence that our individuality and passion drive us to ask ourselves, what kind of impact do I want to make in the world? I want to share with you what our nonprofit advisor for our community-based research class said as we parted ways. Never be afraid to care. I believe that instead of taking the easy or normal routes, I hope you all choose to care and to continue becoming greater and greater researchers. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Christy Wu.
Distinguished faculty, fellow graduates, families, and friends, good afternoon. As I prepare for today's speech, I found myself thinking about a line written by the great Chinese poet Li Bai, 长风破浪会有时，直挂云帆济沧海. Ride with the wind and break the waves to cross the vast sea. 9 months ago, we arrived at the UCLA Master of Social Science program from different places, carry different stories. But despite our differences, we share something powerful in common. We believe that understanding society matters. So we are here to learn. However, before we learned that how to understand society, before we dive into what we care about, many of us first learned something more important. We learned to study ourselves. One of the earliest lessons we learned in the beginning of the program was the importance of positionality. Where do you come from? What experiences have shaped the way you see the world? What identities, communities, and histories do you carry with you? And whose voices represent when you speak? None of us enter research as a blank slate. Our backgrounds influence the questions we find important. Our experiences shape the stories that we notice, and our values affect how we understand what we discover. Every voice carries a story, and every researcher stands within the larger community that have shaped who they are. The road ahead will not always be clear, but we can trust the experience that shaped us. We can trust the effort that we invested, because perhaps success is not defined by having every answer, but to continue exploring. Today, we graduate from MaSS, but our journey as social scientists is just beginning. May we continue to listen to the voice that have not yet fully been heard, and may we continue asking questions that matters. And may we have the courage to ride the wind and break the waves. Congratulations. UCLA Master of Social Science, Class of 2026.
Okay, those were wonderful speeches. Thank you again to Janica and Christy. So now it is time to begin our presentation of the Masters of Social Science class of 2026. Okay, are we ready? All right. Alexis Ivan Aleman. Alexis says, I'm extremely thankful to everyone who has made MaSS possible. I can say with confidence that what I have learned this year has impacted the trajectory of my career in medicine in a meaningful way. Claudia Bai. Claudia says, thank you to everyone who helped and supported me during this journey. I'm grateful for everything I learned and for the people who made this experience meaningful. Sha Chen. Shaw says, I can't thank you enough to all who have been there for me and who have been on this ride. We shared bright moments and the hard days, and that means everything. Now here we are. Here's to all of us and to wherever the road leads. Chi Shuen He. Chi Shuen says, thanks to my parents and all my friends' support. Alexandra James. Alexandra says, thank you to my family and friends who made this achievement possible and made my time at UCLA so special. Simon Jin. Simon says, a small-town boy crossed 6,000 miles of ocean to reach the City of Angels, the land I had always dreamed of. To my family, friends, and professors, this summer of finding myself through you will forever be etched in the California's golden sunlight. Luning Kang. Looning says, thank you for everything that has happened in my life. I am grateful for every experience that has shaped my life and for everyone who has supported me along the way. Ji Yu Lee. Ji Yu says, I'm grateful for everyone I met and all the love and support I received through this journey. Graduation is not the end, but it's a new beginning, and I hope we can all keep growing and becoming more ourselves. Hugh Chi Lin. Hugh says, thank you to my family, friends, and professors for their support throughout my graduate school journey. I am also grateful for the chance to have met my favorite person along the way. Dora Leo. Dora says, thank you to my parents for giving me the courage and support to explore a bigger world across the Pacific. Lauren Ray McLean. Lauren says, go Bruins. This is possible thanks to my family, who have always been my biggest, most loving, unequivocal supporters of me and my education. Thank you to Tutu, Grandpa, Baba, and Pop, Mom, Dad, Dino, Melissa. I love you guys. Ripley Block Newman. Ripley says, to my grandmother, Ann Block, and my grandfather, Alan Block, thank you for the many ways you understand the granddaughter who took a different path. Mackenzie Elizabeth Root. Mackenzie says, thank you to my mom, dad, partner, and professors for your immense support and encouragement throughout my academic journey. I am honored to celebrate this achievement with all of you, and I'm looking forward to what the next chapter brings. Yang Wang. Yang says, thank you to my parents for helping me begin this journey in California, to the beautiful sunshine here, and to everyone I met along the way. You made this chapter unforgettable. Janica Tossapon White. Janica says, I want to really thank the instructors for supporting my research interests and passions, no matter how niche or odd they were. Katrina Wong. Katrina says, this last year at UCLA filled me with uncertainty, but it ended with gratitude, growth, and unforgettable memories. Thank you to my mom, the friends I met both within and beyond the program, and the professors who guided me along the way. I'm grateful to have shared this chapter with you all. Christy Cho Xuen Wu. Christy says, I would like to thank my family, friends, and my partner for their constant love, support, and encouragement. I would also like to thank the MaSS staff for their guidance and support throughout my graduate studies. This has been an incredible journey. I am so delighted to have met every one of you. Tian Ching Sha. Tianqing says, "It was the end of a decade, but the start of an age." Lin Miyoshi Yamamoto. Lynn says, "Firstly, I'd like to send my love and gratitude to my parents who sacrificed and invested so much in me, making it possible to graduate with a master's from UCLA. Thank you to my professors and friends for their support, laughter, and lessons. Lastly, I'm thankful I met my favorite person here." Okay?
She's here.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay, we have one more student. Okay. Yang Wang. Yang says, "Thank you to my parents for helping me begin this journey in California, the beautiful sunshine here, and to everyone I met along the way. You made this chapter unforgettable." And it was an unforgettable chapter. On behalf of the MaSS program and the MaSS faculty and Dr. Elsie Quest, it is now my distinct honor to present the UCLA Masters of Social Science class of 2026. Congratulations. Okay.
Any of our graduates up for an 8 clap? We have some alums who know the 8 clap, yes? Come on, Katrina, you can help. Come on up. Help everybody.
Actually, could we have all the I'd come to the stage.
Let's teach our family and friends how to do this.
Yes.
Don't be shy now. Come on.
Come on. We need a photo anyway, so all our graduates, please come to the stage. Please.
You know it.
I don't really know it. I can like sing along.
Say 4 letters.
You see fight.
Come on, Hugh. We're all coming to the stage. Second row?
Yeah. Like we need a second.
Okay. Do you want to be on the other side, maybe?
Everybody ready? 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. And last one. Okay. I promise last one. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
All right. Ready? I know you're a double Bruin. You know how to do this. Lynn, you know how to do this.
She knows how to do it. Yeah.
Ready?
How do you?
But you should teach.
Can you walk us through it real quick?
Not this way. I'm done teaching.
Okay. You. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You.
Me. UCLA, fight. See?
There we go. Okay. I think, are we, all right. Well, I present to you the class of 2026 one more time. And are you going to do the clap one more time? Or are we okay? Okay, and we will be having a reception in the courtyard directly after our ceremony here. So, yes.